So you can laugh all you want, but I think the more that I actually dwell on this, the more I realize the reason that I'm sharing this type of content is I haven't found another RVer out there that is showing you this type of content. So I had a notion, there's one or two reasons that is. Either people don't care, or people aren't willing to put themselves out there and be vulnerable and share a struggle like this. So I'm willing to put myself out there. I'm taking the risk to see what happens from it. Alrighty, so I made quite a bit of headway here. I'm not completely done, as you can see, but we made some progress. I got some of the space reclaimed. In reality, most of it was just bags of rocks, which I need to crush up, get rid of. More bottles and trash. So, we got the bottles still sitting there, trying to figure out exactly what we're doing with that. And there's the trash. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this to the dumpster. One anxiety and stress at a time. It's just how you gotta get through things sometimes. Sometimes it's a little bit at a time. Alright, well, that gets to the trash, so we're good. And it's the last 80-degree day while I'm in this place, and I figured I'm gonna try to enjoy some of it outside. And tomorrow and the next day and the day after that will be in the 70s. It'll be a great time to finish this up. But I am getting ready to move. I decided to leave a little earlier. I'm going to leave on Monday here so I can go check out the American River. Chew that gold! I need to get through this before I leave. So when I get to where I'm going, or even the last couple of days here, it can be more enjoyable. So we got all the water containers here. And we got some space back there. We got some, more rocks. It's just, I'm getting through it. But my decision to be transparent and upload that last video has actually inspired me. Right after that got done, I was decided to just keep going, because that's really all it takes. It's like within the first 7 minutes is when it it's not usually hard. Like, you ever start doing something and it's like, once you get moving, it kind of goes long. It only took me like 25-30 minutes once I got moving. The hardest part was the days leading up to the thought of wanting to do it to the actual action. So statistically, or at least a few years back, it used to be from the time you think something up until the time you actually act on it is 7 minutes. So I learned another trick years ago. If it's going to take 3 minutes or less, do it right away. So, like, for instance, if I'm going to pick this up, do not pick it up and put it down where it doesn't belong, because that is going to create I have to think about it again. And next time I think about it, under normal circumstances, it'll take at least 7 minutes for me to act upon the thought of this little fish on where it belongs. So if I'm touching it now, to maximize my time, I need to figure out what the hell am I going to do with this little fish. Throw it out, because I don't need a little fish. So we threw out the little fish. So that takes care of that. But, like, that's the deal. If it's 3 minutes or less, do it right away. Don't put it off. That's just a tip about productivity. And I promise you, I'm not perfect at this. Definitely don't always practice it. I'm aware of it, though. So super productive people, that's something that they practice, I'm sure. So we got somewhere. I'm actually going to keep going a little bit further, just trying to get through this, and then I got to figure out something to do today to just continue allowing me to feel less anxious. Because that's ultimately what I need to do right now, is feel less anxious. It's been a few days, and here we are. We're going to show you what it's like to load up the current toy hauler situation. Here's every time we have to pack up and leave. Bottom cushion. There's the cruiser mount, so the Honda can come in here. Now, I finally made me enough room. We got to move this generator. That's going to move. A whole bag of freaking, like, inline fuse kits. Like, small engines. Came from there. I use them in RVs, but, like, Shit, they need to go into the stock. Alright. So there, I got enough room for now. But we got these 4-gallon, ironically enough, 4-gallon water. There's, 12 gallons worth of empty water containers, which I use from time to time. Here's the single gallons that I bought this last time from the store, that I generally throw them away as they accumulate, but now it looks like I got 8 of them. It's probably time to throw some away, which is great. So I throw a couple of these away. That still doesn't really do much. Guess every little bit counts. There's my metal detector. This is our pile of papers that were on the couch before. This I used yesterday. I actually opened it for the first time and used it yesterday, but I need to get all that away. There's more rocks. We have a serious rock problem, so on the bottom of that tote is all rocks that need to be processed. And then I'll pull my bike in here. There's all my jackets mess hanging up. I'll pull my bike in here, and then I'll have to put that couch stuff back on top of the bike. There's a roof rack out there. That roof rack has to come back in. There's 2 like 10-foot long rugs or whatever. They sit on top of the bike here. So like by the time I put the cruiser in, it gets covered. It's buried on top of couches, cushions, rugs. This is behind it. The roof rack sits behind it. Whatever else I can't fit. Then on top of like all that stuff has to be moved. It'll come exploding off. Them truck plates will go in the truck. That's Starlink, like, which I have to decide if I'm going to keep this camper. I got to drill a hole to get that wire so it doesn't have to go out the door. But like all that has to come off or that will explode. It's just like, this is what I do every single time. So like, it is what it is. I got to get this stuff in here, and then that dirt bike has to go in the back. But it's just like, if I had a camper that was, let's say, 8 to 10 feet longer, this space would not need cleared. This space could be clear all the time. The motorcycles would be from here back, and then whatever's in this current space now would be neatly organized in the garage space of the camper, where then I would actually be able to live in all of this space and then ideally function. So like, that's where my head's at right now. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm moving for a 3-day period coming up here in the next few days. And it's like, I can pretty much assure you, since it's going to take me most of the day to get all this put it together, and I'm only going to be at the next place for like 3 days, even if it turns into a week, there's no way in hell I'm taking the motorcycle off the back, unbearing the cruiser in here to pull it out for 1 or 2 days to then re-put it all back in here. Even when I'm staying somewhere for 3 weeks at this point, it still stresses me out to think about pulling this out and putting it all back together. And in this very moment, I'm wondering, like, why did I shorten my stay here to leave the 14th instead of the 19th? Because that's just 6 extra days. I didn't have to worry about it. But at the end of the day, like, every time I load and unload this, it really irks me, and I'm starting to wonder, why am I still doing it like this? Like, something's got to give. So it doesn't look terrible right now. It really doesn't, and it's not. But as soon as you get the motorcycle in there and then you rebury it, it's just like, dude, you need a bigger camper or less shit. One of the two.